Pounders, welcome back. Today we got a little surprise guest coming in to the show. Nick, welcome, my dude. How you doing?
Good, man. You?
Good. Figured we'd start with a little fun intro to how the draft guide has been stacking up based on where ADP movement has been going. And if you guys don't know, Nick took a look graciously on the draft guide and basically how it's been doing. And it doesn't always mean like when someone's ranked in the green, when I think of that, I think of basically 8% plus, typically around like 10% plus, if
Right.
possible. Now, the first round, you're going to get a little bit of everyone, right? Even Kyron slipping. We had him ranked in the yellow. We had AJ Brown going right after in 13, figured he would rise. And we did get this switch where AJ Brown's now in the first round. Kyron gets flipped to the back end. Small advantages.
So the first round, like the first two rounds, you're not going to see so much ADP movement as you will like in the much later rounds. So for green guys, obviously you want to see them move maybe like a spot or two, and that would be like a good call or a good read on the player. But you're not going to see them like get bumped out too much. I know beginning of these big boards, we obviously saw Pacheco, White. Those guys fell a good amount, but outside like a rare amount of people, like these ADPs should stay pretty consistent.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a really good point to bring up about these starting rounds. Yeah, I want a piece of basically everyone in this first round here. Moving on to the second round, because it does get a little more interesting. I initially had DJ Moore ranked in the red the first time I did the guide, and then we quickly moved him to yellow just based on draft landscape, the fact that wide receivers really dry up pretty quick, and there's an avalanche. You can get caught in it pretty easily. So he quickly made his way to yellow.
And with DJ Moore, we're still not sure about Fields or Caleb Williams. We're not sure what direction it's gonna, take. I mean, it looks pretty convincing that the Bears are gonna take Caleb based on what we know as of now. But
yeah, I think I saw a new report today. New report today on Twitter Machine saying basically they're in talks with Pittsburgh. The deals involving Deontay Johnson, potentially second round pick, and obviously the Bears are pushing for a first round pick for Fieldsy. So
did you have if you go back up to like the first 12 picks, did you have Bijan below Gibbs?
This is the ADP.
Wow.
So this is where the ADPs were.
It's kind of interesting that Gibbs was ahead of Bijan from the start. I didn't remember that.
This is, I think, around 6% fill rate is when this first guide basically we dropped.
Right. And so you were dead on with Bijan. I mean, he's moved above Gibbs, and Gibbs has fallen to like the Bijan range, 10 spot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's small advantages. It's really small, and like maybe I just want to have 10% Bijan, and maybe that 2% comes out of Gibbs's stock. You know what I mean? And last year, I was a fader of the running backs in the first round, fader of Kelsey, and then I was able to get 18% CeeDee Lamb. So it does help when you're hitting, especially in these small windows.
Well, it doesn't even really make sense thinking that Gibbs was above Bijan, because Bijan was taken before him anyway, draft capital wise. Bijan was the quintessential like best running back. That's been drafted in a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and Demont probably, it doesn't look like he's going anywhere.
Is still there, and he's clearly a better running back than Tyler Algier, for that matter.
Easy. Moving on to the second round, anything stand out? Yeah, Debo did take a little slide. Rice, Diggs, I think, is still a good price. Had Devontae Adams in the green.
Has flown up the board.
Yeah, he has. Did he touch 17 at some point, and then he may be dropping just slightly? Or is this still going up?
I think he was always right around 8 chain. Yeah. But he's definitely obviously risen based on your early ADPs.
He doesn't have too much more room to go. If he gets that Arizona landing spot, I think maybe you can. I would have him over Collins anyways. So like that's the funny thing is like
because you're out on Nico
ahead of ahead of Collins. I'm out on
Where are you comfortable,
Nico
by the way, taking Nico? Because for
probably
example,
around
like
20.
I was in a draft earlier today, and I got
Mhm.
a Jefferson start at like ADP 6, and then
Okay.
Nico falls to me at like 19.
Yeah,
So I
that's
just
fine.
scooped him there just because of the ADP value, but
Right.
he could still plummet below that for a lot of reasons. So
A lot
it's not
a lot
necessarily
of
like
reasons.
yeah,
This team could look to add a third option. Like, they have a shit ton of money. They're one of the top 5 teams that have available cap space. So it
yeah,
freaks me out a little bit. And when you price Tank the way he's priced, I would just rather tank Dell at his price over Nico
yeah,
at
sure.
15. So there's a couple things going on. Now, red doesn't mean 0%. It's not like I want 0%. Usually it means I want
You
4% and
just want the
under.
value to be where you want to draft him.
Yeah.
So when he
Yeah.
falls, you'll be glad to take him. But
Exactly.
you're not taking him at the ADP he's presented.
Exactly. That's exact same way that I'm seeing it. Rice has been a clear riser. And we'll see. Casey, are they do you think they're gonna touch in free agency at receiver, or do you have
Yeah,
a
well, not free agent. Well,
what do you
free
think
agency,
draft?
but I think also draft. There's a
Yeah.
possibility. Draft would be better for Rice because he has more
Yes.
trust coming into the offense than a rookie does.
Yeah,
Um, but there are
definitely.
players I think that could, sign with KC.
Mhm.
I don't know, guys like Gabe Davis are out there still. So
Mhm.
they want to touch on that position that way, then I don't think anybody would be surprised by that, based on the
For
receiving room
sure.
that's there now.
For sure. Devontae gets a 3 pick, ADP boost. Isaiah Pacheco falls like over a round. Rashad
Yeah.
White falls to like 42, and he's still dropping to around probably like mid 40s. I
Yep.
would say he'll settle out at. Pittman's pretty much stayed the same. Metcalf drops a pick, but still like him in this range.
And I think Pittman, honestly, is at a good ADP now that T. Higgins got the franchise tag, because now Pittman is looking at he's looking like one of the top
Yeah,
free agent receivers if the Colts
exactly.
don't retain him. Then there's really like no better receiver outside of, I guess, him and Ayuk are the only
Yeah.
two good receivers, but it
But
limits
Ayuk's not a
the
free
talent.
agent, right?
I
He's
think
not a free agent.
so they have they're still on a deal with Ayuk. They just have to. They're just trying to give him a contract extension. That was what it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so then Pittman is clearly like the best free agent available.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for
if a
sure.
team needs a receiver, uh, they're looking at guys like Michael Pittman.
Yeah. He could get the bag if Indy does entertain him, like you
Yeah,
said. Uh, Evans, I do like this. So, like, again, this is from over 25% or around 25% ago that this first draft guide came out. We released the second edition to the Pounders on Patreon. The link is in the description there. And we updated all these colors based on the new ADPs, based on the movement. And yeah, ETN, I'm not surprised to see him not move because there
yeah,
isn't much of a threat to his workload. So,
mhm,
as much of a zero RB guy I am in the first 4 rounds, I still don't mind ETN here, where I've seen
yeah.
some of the more
And he
sharp
was
people,
super efficient
they're worried.
from what we
Yeah.
saw last year, and everybody was so worried about Tank coming in and you know uh, dissolving that role he had there. But
Yeah.
he clearly was their guy. So I don't think that's
Yeah.
going to change much next season.
Big time. Dude, the Tank Dell ADP 34. Good days. Good days. He's up to 27 now. So that's exactly contingent with my Nico take, especially early on where you're getting Tank, and he went even earlier, obviously, during contest open.
Yep.
Uh, I don't mind. Lamar falls, and I still like him at this ADP. He falls about 5 picks, but I think he's a fine click in this range.
I think all these quarterbacks that go after Allen are still not priced correct. Like Hurts, Jackson, I
Mhm.
think they should be moved up more. But people are, I guess, just kind of still following ADP and
Definitely.
not reaching
Definitely.
so much on them because they're afraid to, take a guy too early. But I think they should be getting picked sooner, especially
Definitely.
where we're seeing Allen get drafted. Like, there's
Mhm.
too much of a discrepancy between picks, which I don't understand. I don't know if you do, but
Between which two?
So like
The
QBs,
QBs.
Allen being drafted in the second round, and Hurts
Mhm.
and Jackson sometimes both getting taken in the fourth round. So many picks in between, right? The next, like, for that to
Yeah,
happen, the tier would have
it's
to be so huge, which I don't think it
s
is.
that's kinda like the Kelsey take last season, right? Where Kelsey's at 6, the next tight end goes off at, like, 32. He has to outproduce every single other tight end and by a wide margin in order to
Yeah,
be worth that pick. And
yeah,
obviously, we see him not even finish as tight end 1, and his advance rates suffer because of it.
right.
Um, that's why I had 2% Kelsey last year. It was
Yeah,
risk.
and
It was
unfortunately,
risky.
like, my percentage on Josh Allen is, like, less than
Mhm,
5% just because I don't think you can take him as
mhm.
early as he is
And
and make up the difference where people are getting these next tier quarterbacks and they're
right,
drafted,
right,
like,
right.
so far down the board after them.
And the one thing I will add, like in best ball, to critically think, it is important to probably mix in these players that may be mispriced. They may be, not worth their ADP, but they still have that single game ceiling where they can break the slate.
Yeah,
You probably should still be mixing these guys in. So I didn't go 0% Kelsey. I went 2, and that is risky. Like without a doubt that was risky last year, but it worked.
right.
Doesn't mean it was right. Same thing with Josh Allen. Like I'm probably going to be around 8% because now some of these late middle round QBs, their prices are coming up, and Josh Allen's fallen from pick 16 to 18. You can get him at 20. You can get him. Well, his ADP is now 20, excuse me. And you can get him sometimes in the third round pretty easily. So I have been
Yeah.
scooping Josh Allen
But
now
what's
in the
funny
back end.
about Josh Allen is that he's a quarterback that has a lot more question marks around the receiver room than a lot of these
Mhm.
other guys do. Like, we don't know really
Yeah.
about Diggs with his age and his situation with the team. They
Mhm.
just are letting go of Gabe Davis, and now you're left with a question mark on Diggs and Shakir. So he didn't really improve
Right.
in terms
No.
of weapons.
No. Maybe you can make the argument Kincaid's second year, and then they're gonna have to touch at wide receiver. I think
Yeah.
Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel could be a good
Maybe Troy Franklin,
no
like
bias. No
guys that we
bias.
like,
Yeah, right.
but we still
The
don't know for
dream.
sure.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But no, I think the process there is definitely good. Devonta Smith around the same. James Cook gets I believe he slides. Yeah, he slides about 6 picks. Keenan Allen's been he's been a pretty consistent riser. Hasn't been as fast. Mahomes falls. Mahomes falls about 7.5 picks here.
I feel like
Waddle's been a
Waddle has been rising a ton, but I think that's from you just been you've been pushing the ADP up
come
the
on. Come
up
on.
the ladder, you
Come
know,
on.
with how many
Dude, this
times you're
is
taking him early. I think everybody's starting to, buy into it.
This is a lot of movement, though. We're talking 8 picks
Yeah,
from the 4th round to the 3rd round. People are definitely catching on that Waddle was mispriced, and he was my
right.
highest owned wide receiver up until, like, 3 days ago.
Yep.
Uh, T. Higgs, this price is going to obviously, it's gotta increase. It has to. That's good news.
He should be by like the Smith range now, right? With the news.
Yes. Yes. Probably putting him ahead of Keenan Allen
Yeah.
personally. Neighbors, Amari Cooper, Kelsey stayed around the same. Cooper Cup's been a riser. Kenneth Walker's gotten a little slide. And then Drake London's been a big riser himself. Drake
Yeah.
London has been a 9-pick riser. So pretty good. If you guys want to see the rest of those rankings, again, just any tier of the Patreon will get you the rankings, as well as any future update all the way through Best Ball Mania. So pretty cool there. And Nick was nice enough to help us out and make sure they're not completely wrong. But we've only disagreed every time I've sent it to you, the 2 times, 3 to 5 players out of 216.
Right. And I mean, look,
It's
we're not always going to be on the
pretty
same
insane.
people. So
Definitely not.
I think having like a few players here and there is not a big deal whatsoever.
I agree. I definitely agree there. You were saying before the show started, Ray Davis's new ADP.
Yeah.
is broken to 170.
He's officially now in the top 170s as of today.
That
So
is so sick.
he's a
That is
huge
so sick.
riser in terms of rookies. And I've seen it, man. I've seen people taking him even before 177. They're taking him in like the 160 range, and people are
You,
well
I've seen it. I've seen
outside of when I can do it. Other people are doing it before me. So
Okay. Okay.
some people agree with the analysis, I guess, with the player. So
Yeah.
it's good to see. Hopefully, it does work out. It's too early to tell, I think, for any rookie. But
Mm.
if you like what you see on tape, I mean, that's what we're going off of right now.
Dude, Logan, this would be absolutely insane. He says, been hearing a lot about Chicago that they have thought to keep Fields and take Williams and have him sit a year. You don't do that.
They
You
wouldn't do
can't,
that. It would be a waste of a lot of capital, and they could trade Fields for more picks and get more
dude.
assets out of it than do
That
that. I think the
that's
only
so
thing that would make
risky.
sense for the Bears is if they wanted to trade down, but they would have to trade down to a point where they can probably get like Marvin Harrison. Like I don't think they're going to take Marvin Harrison one, but if they
Mhm.
could pivot from a quarterback, they got to bring in like a player like Marvin Harrison to make sense
Right.
to keep Fields.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. And what do you get from that? You're losing a year of the advantage that rookies give you, right? Especially if he's a sure thing, which is what
Yeah,
everyone's saying. He's a NFL ready QB right now. You don't waste years of rookie deals on players like that, in my opinion.
yeah.
So I just think that's a less likely outcome to happen.
Look, if they're thinking about it like, hey, if Fields and Caleb Williams were in the same draft, who are we taking? If they're probably saying Caleb Williams, that's the direction they're going to go.
Mhm.
But he's been like really pointing towards like the signs where like he doesn't want to be a Chicago, which he said he didn't want to be from the beginning. Like he had his team set in mind that he wanted to play for,
Right.
and this just like seems like an Eli Manning to the Chargers situation all over again,
Damn.
right?
Damn.
Like
Think someone's gonna backdoor him?
I don't know. I think he's doing everything in his power for Chicago not to draft him.
Waiting on one person if you want to jump in with us. We did drop the news to the Patreon members and the YouTube memberships. I appreciate you guys. If you guys are just joining us, go down and smash the like on the live stream. If you like the content, pick 3. You have to like that. I know I do. It's about time. Shout out to Joe Bunn. Joe Bunn, I believe, has got a podcast, right? If this is the
I
dude
don't
I'm
know the
thinking
name.
about, yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is the man. Logan gets in here with us, and that might be it. I've seen
I
a little
think
more of
this is a perfect spot to maybe try and do like a zero RB build. What do you
yeah,
think?
yeah, definitely. I mean,
Like we
we're not
go
going
into this draft
RB at
right
3.
here, and yeah, unless I mean I've seen people like push Brees Hall up because I think
Yeah,
they're in the boat where they think Brees Hall could be RB1, and so it makes sense to have that take. But these
it
receivers
does
to me,
it does, but not to take him over. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
sure, if you're not getting enough Brees and maybe you're getting a ton of pick 1 through 5, man, that's a nice problem to have. I definitely
yeah,
don't have that one. Yeah, maybe then, if you want to even out your exposures or whatever, if you want to be higher on Brees, but it has to come out of someone's pocket, right?
yeah.
Tough to take it out of one of these guys.
But so when you go into zero RB build,
Mhm.
you're trying to what get 5 or 6 receivers on your roster before we even take a running back. Because there
It
definitely is a
depends.
zone where I feel like there's good value at running backs. Um,
Let's
and you
go.
got gifted CD, so that's great.
Let's go. I needed more 2 picks, so this will help. We might be up to 6% now or 5%. It's not
Mhm.
great. Um, yeah, so our next pick's around 22, which again is another great range for
Receivers.
receivers. Like you're typically getting Devontae Adams, Rice, Ayuk.
Yep.
Um, Barkley, I've come around to if he slides, like if he slides to 27, I've been scooping Barkley there.
Oh, 100%. If you get Barkley in the third round, I think he's really good value because
Yeah.
what the next best running back on the board is ETN either way. and
Hmm.
then there's a huge like shift in running back ADP after that.
Joe Bungo's Bijan over Brees, taking a stance. But yeah, this very easily can turn into a zero RB. And we've been doing a lot of zero RB or hero RB, mostly dancing between those two, just because by that Godwin range, I've had
Yeah,
4 receivers, I'd say, in 97% of my drafts. And I've liked most of my teams. And the teams that I wait on that 4th receiver, and I do
yeah,
like Deontay
that's
Johnson. Like
chalky.
I think he could be a decent value for where he goes. But
Yeah,
and Jacoby Myers, I know we like these 3 guys. But if your next guy and you're looking at it's Cortland Sutton, you're not having a good day. You're not
a
having a
lot of
good day.
these receivers don't feel like ceiling guys; they feel like floor or safe receivers,
Mhm.
um, as opposed to this early range of guys that I think are
They just have
huge
access
ceiling
to a different
plays.
yeah. They have access to a different ceiling, you're right.
Yeah,
It does feel so much better to hit wide receiver early, maybe get 1 running back. If you go QB, you're probably going 0 RB. If you go early tight end, you're probably going 0 RB again because you wanna make sure your wide receiver strength is good leading into those rounds. And
right.
then you can take that break. You can hit the value picks with running back. If your guy's Aaron Jones, or you can hit those value picks of tight ends, of QBs, and then you can come back to receivers. If
Yeah,
and that's what I like to
there's
do. I
so many rookies in this draft class. So, and it
exactly.
feels like there's a ton of rookies like just getting picked like in general for best ball. And there are a lot of guys that we can try and take darts on
Yeah.
later on. Whether or not you've already had 5 or 6 receivers, if you're going to go heavy receiver, you can just try and throw a few darts at these rookies, and
Mhm.
maybe you land on the next Puka, and that's huge.
And even if you don't, just from a
Yeah,
roster construction standpoint,
yeah,
the fact that you're gonna have 4 of these receivers before Godwin in most of your drafts, and this is not like a max of 4, this is minimum. I'm talking about minimum 4 receivers by that Godwin range.
yeah.
Uh, then hitting that QB range, the tight ends, sometimes grabbing 2 before, Ferguson feels really good. We do see Devonta Adams slide right by us here. Diggs, Josh Allen, we can try to grab both.
I was thinking maybe like do something a little different here. Maybe we go like Pittman Waddle, but
Okay. Like Pittman, Waddle. Pittman, though.
because you were
Pittman over
you
Josh Allen. Ah.
yeah,
I
it's
think
kind of gross, but
it is kind of gross. Maybe Josh Allen and Waddle, I'm cool with too.
so my Waddle take was that I know you're comfortable taking Waddle in the 3rd round, and Pittman is
Definitely.
just a player that I mean I could see this guy like he got a huge target share in Indy.
Mhm.
I think his profile is great regardless if he's on Indy or not. Um,
But from an
he's
elite talent level, I can't put him in the same tier as like a Josh Allen right now.
yeah.
Access like act those players like against each other, accessing like their ceiling. I just think Josh Allen has such a higher ceiling.
So if Diggs
And
comes to you, you're kind of stuck having to draft Diggs now though because
oh yeah,
it just makes sense.
but getting Diggs or Barkley here is pretty cool too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
so
is good.
we get a couple picks slide on both Allen and Diggs and CD Lamb. So honestly, it's gonna be probably slightly less owned right now.
Yeah, and it's still 0 RB as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah. Exactly. And when you go like a QB like Josh Allen, it is tougher to like bring in a running back in the next 2 rounds. Missing this group is just really tough.
Yeah.
Pick 70, 75.
Well, especially because you're probably going to look to try and hopefully bring in Kincaid with this team. How do you feel about like if
Yeah.
like James Cook falls in your range? Um,
Can't I
you
I
don't
would
you think
rather
it's negative EV for you to
I've
do that?
I've done it. I've done it. I've tried it I think twice with Cook, and it just feels bad from not only like a rush construction standpoint, but look at this 3 RBs. This guy might be bleeding the room, which is funny. Um, does Buffalo have the chance to add someone to this backfield? Like, I think they end up doing that. Like, they brought in some dust last year. They brought in Damian Harris. They brought in Latavius Murray.
Yeah, and don't forget about Fournette, who didn't play much, but
Fournette,
or at all.
dust. I don't think they're comfortable with just like James Cook. I think they're going to keep looking for secondary options, which doesn't mean like James Cook isn't safe for his ADP, but he might be a little overpriced. And Josh Allen's already taken the goal line work. Like James Cook price, he had 2 rushing touchdowns last year. He got
Yeah,
there because he was involved on third down. He got there 4 times in the air,
right. So that's
and he
what
did good on the
that's
ground.
really what I was talking about, like in terms of his receiving work on the offense. But
I do think there's
that's definitely not enough to carry the weight of his ADP.
he's not like a negatively correlated player with Josh
Correct.
Allen too.
Right.
I would so I have mixed him in, but from a team building standpoint, it feels rough, especially like this pick 70 now. Now that Godwin is off the board, typically bef- before pick 70, if you're left with this for your wide receiver 3, you're punching the air. You're punching the air.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not great. Or wide receiver 4 because you have to go if you go Cook here, you have to go wide receiver. So, and again, that's where I like my 4th wide receiver, Godwin and before. That's
Yeah.
sort of my rule of thumb right now until we have more information. And I think we're all on similar rookies and we're all trying to find the great values that are going to add to your lineup and just kind of take it to the next level. And I think that's a good way to draft right now too.
No, yeah, I agree with you for sure.
Let's see what this dude does. The 0 wide receiver through
Yeah,
4. I'm
he's
getting
gonna be
nervous
tough.
for
He's
him.
gonna be in a tough spot with his receivers. That's for sure. But let's see if he
Minimum
can like
10.
dig himself out of a hole here. Yeah, I would think
Minimum 10 at this
maybe
point.
more. He could have like one more running back in this room and just try and play off them.
Yeah, the wide receiver avalanche is near. You can sense it. You can sense it. I do think we try to push Kincaid to 70 rather than pick
Yeah,
him at
no,
51. Doesn't make sense.
yeah, I agree.
Um,
Totally. If it's meant to be, it will be meant to be. You know,
who's your go-to here?
I'm really off Addison with the
Same.
QB situation there. I'd push Calvin Ridley above.
Let's go,
At
Dust.
least, at
Got
least
the
to
Dust
me,
room.
with Ridley, you know his quarterback. If he stays in Jacksonville, we know it's Trevor
Yeah,
Lawrence, and he definitely can be the receiver 1 on that team over Kirk.
yeah.
Although it didn't look like it a lot of games. But if you really like dive into it, you know Calvin Ridley was getting a ton of coverage thrown his way, which
Mhm.
helped Kirk have some big games. Um,
After Zay Jones got hurt.
yeah, right. But to me, I like Ridley. I like Ridley being the receiver 1 in an offense with a quarterback I know that's there over receiver 2
Mhm.
without any quarterback information.
So we can take a risk here.
I mean, if you want to bring in Addison now that you have Ridley, but there are these 2 running backs that have fallen. So
I do
I
kind of like
do.
I don't mind Pacheco in this spot.
And
Reason
what
being,
value
I
do we get here? How many picks are we
it's
getting?
about nine picks.
I think this is where you kind of, even if you're going to try and do zero RB, you have to
I,
kind of take into account these ADP discounts
yeah,
you get on
yeah.
players,
This
and
feels too good.
you got to understand the player that you're picking in a sense. Like Pacheco to me feels way better than like the running backs they currently have, like Clyde Edwards-Helaire and um,
McKinnon.
McKinnon, who who knows?
CH probably gone. But
Yeah.
will they touch an RB? Maybe, but I don't think there's anyone that's going to threaten like a large share of
Yeah.
Pacheco's, carries. So maybe they bring in someone like a third down type in the draft, but again, free agency, they're not going to spend big bucks on running back. They're just not going to. I don't think they have the money to do that anyways. So we're really looking at someone in the NFL draft, and we know the class isn't the most sexy, but like a Ray Davis would threaten probably Isaiah Pacheco's third down role, which is fine. I don't think that's where you're really making your money on Pacheco here.
I mean, Pacheco's still like a really good football player. I mean, do people not realize that? Like, he runs hard. He does his job. He's pretty. I feel
Yeah.
like he was pretty efficient. The Super Bowl wasn't a great indicator of that. I mean, he got like 18 rushing attempts, but did like little on it. He had a pretty costly fumble in that game.
Yeah, San Fran, those, the number one rush defense
Yeah,
over the last like 3+ years.
but outside of that, I mean, clearly, if you watch their offense, he's a guy that they trust in that offense to
Big
carry the
time.
ball.
Big time. Yeah, I don't mind Pacheco, especially when he falls. Like if I'm not taking him at 51, I'm probably
And he's definitely a
never
better
taking him.
click or feels better than White because he's connected to a better offense with a better
Hmm.
quarterback.
Hmm.
So, um,
I agree with that. So now we pray.
yeah.
I can actually bring in Brian
You're in
Thomas
a tough
Jr. in this
spot
range
if
too.
Godwin and Kincaid are both on the board. I wonder what you're going to do.
Yeah, I would probably just go Kincaid for the correlation
Right.
and just expect that Godwin's probably they both got tight end though. See, that's the shit that weighs into your head. Like, would they go a second tight end here? Maybe, but I would
You
take
won't
the
know
bet.
until they
I would
until they draft, right? I mean, they could be on auto for a pick. They could just want a
nah,
elite tight end build. Who knows?
these
There's a
guys are
lot of things that
building.
goes into it.
These guys are here. These guys are building. They're correlating their lineups. They're here. They're in the building. All right, Godwin's gone at 62, so we don't gotta worry about that anymore.
There's no reason to push Hopkins over Kincaid, in my opinion. I mean, Kincaid is
Yeah,
a clear
with the
choice over that.
correlation too.
Thomas is intriguing, but I'd still say just play it safe. And there's definitely another player on the board that I like if we go Kincaid first.
It can't be a running back.
Yeah, it is.
Dude, this
Definitely
guy's
is.
got 4 RBs. So again, even probably better that we do bring in Pacheco 9 picks after. This guy, the 0 wide receiver strat coming in strong.
Is he on auto pick?
No,
No. Good. There you
he's
go.
JSN. Good.
I respect it.
Gotta at this point. Pick
At least he was
94.
aware enough to
Yeah.
be like, yeah, it doesn't make sense to have another running back in this build, even if I have to reach for JSN.
Joe Bunn, don't do it to us. Don't do it to us. Oh, we go Spears. Logan. This guy has 5 wide receivers. Team Josh. Go Stevenson.
Yeah, that's who I was gonna say to queue up, but
Let's
he's gone.
go. Let's
I do
go.
like Stevenson, man. If he would have been your next RB, I think I would have been pretty happy for you.
Yeah, I have Stevenson. I think we already discussed this over the players in this range.
Yeah,
I would honestly probably put James Conner over the players in this range too.
I don't know about David
Psycho.
Montgomery, just based on the player. It's not great that he's sharing carries with Gibbs, but
They dropped his usage. People are like boned up over his floor. Take a floor
yeah,
play in the 7th round. Like, please.
yeah. No, I hear you. I'm not huge on David Montgomery, but I do think he deserves a little respect.
He's
Based
probably
on what
better
he
in
showed.
cash games. He's probably better in cash
Yeah,
games
no, I,
than he
I I
is.
definitely agree with that statement for sure. But I do like him over some of these other question marks.
Fuck. I The avalanche is here. The avalanche is here. All
Yeah,
right,
we're gonna have to go with maybe a tight end.
unbury. This is cool. About
Kittle seems
seven
good.
7 picks.
Yeah, why
If we
not?
don't do this, I would try to get, or we can go Connor, which is like the
I like Kittle here,
stance. All right, we'll go
and I
Kittle.
think we end here. We make this a 2 tight end build.
That's fine. We get a slide on both picks. It feels pretty good. Uh, it's funny though. Like sometimes you're just like take Kittle because I have a plan in the back of my head, but guess what? We get value
Look,
on him,
Kittle's
and that's the play to
obviously
go.
getting up there in age, but imagine a world where they don't bring IU back, and Kittle is now Purdy's second favorite target.
Right. Right. Or Debo hurts his hamstring every game.
Yeah, right. And then it's Kittle and Juwan Jennings.
Mhm.
Who would you take in that?
We're
Clearly
gonna
Kittle.
we're gonna see Pitts rise, and I've been sneakily adding to my Pitts shares. I'm around 11%. You should probably be drafting him ahead of Njoku right now because that's where he's headed. Johnny Smith released today. It's it's just another year of, and the Pitts lovers are out there, and they've just been waiting for this little bit of news to select
Yep.
him at pick 71. Like it's coming. The Pitts rise is coming. So I'm definitely
Yeah,
trying to get
Pitts
my shares
Pitts
now.
Pitts feels good. I mean, we talked about this in a previous episode, but if Fields makes his way to the Falcons, um, we obviously showed his love for Cole Kmet
Yeah.
and what he can do for the tight end position. And I think we both agree Pitts is a better tight end on paper, physically. His athletics are better than Kmet, so
Yeah.
just seems like
Oh yeah.
it would be great.
Pretty good landing spot. Team that should be able to have some
But if
sustained
it's not
drives,
Fields, then we're probably looking at like a rookie, and
Just
it's probably like
us,
JJ
but
McCarthy. But
I
he
was
could
gonna
be
say,
a it could be a tight end friendly position there.
what do we say? Pitt's rise is on the way. Pick 83 off the board. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. And
And does he have a
I still
quarterback?
like
I'm,
him
I'm
here.
sure he wanted to take Fields.
He
Oh,
probably did.
he had Hurts, but still,
He went QB anyways, which this
he
is like
probably
a
would have been
question
like
mark.
Fields and Pitts. That'd
That's
have
a
been a fun
question mark.
combo.
Justin Herbert here is a super question mark, though.
Yeah, I mean he has some backdoor stacks. He can get Quentin Johnston still, but not as
Sorry.
great.
Sorry. Shit. No, anyone that lands in Atlanta is going to have, they're going to have a really good opportunity. I mean, Ritter had a really good opportunity with a really good team. And,
Yeah,
I mean, I guess we know how that turned out. Not amazing, but
yeah. Him and Heineke, right?
yeah. But again, Johnny Smith is gone. Like that opens up. That's gonna open up some more playing time for Pitts,
What's
more
interesting is
targets.
like where is John Smith now potentially going to land? Because he clearly showed he's capable of
Fuck.
being on a
Oh
on a
god.
roster.
We just keep going deeper and deeper. Okay.
I'll be honest, that's definitely the right click if he makes it to you, because
The boy.
Franklin's been talked about a lot about him landing with the Bills.
I got shit early for kind of comping him similar to like Tyquan Thornton's build. This is Insta, right?
Can I just see the board? I mean, do you like Kyler as your second QB? Because you might be able to get both these guys.
Do we like another receiver over Myers? Like later? I think it's
Not
Myers.
really. Not
Yeah.
really.
I think if Myers goes, we're in a shit spot.
Okay.
If Kyler goes, we could probably just
I mean, look,
go
you still have a lot of
RB.
capital at Josh Allen, so it's not a
We can
huge
go
deal.
Purdy too with Kittle.
Oh, that's yeah, smart. There we go. Though I do think Purdy's price is a little incorrect.
I don't. I don't think he's the highest ceiling guy, but he's pretty locked for.
Well, so we talked about this, right? Like Purdy goes so far ahead of Lawrence, and in my opinion, that doesn't make sense in my
Yeah.
my brain. So,
This guy
but you don't have
just
to worry
double
about it.
clicks. This guy just double clicked. There's no
Nothing you want
way.
is going your way. So don't
It's
even
all
worry
right.
about it.
T-Law is coming back to us at 12 picks after ADP.
Um, I'm not huge on Warren, if I'm being honest.
Me either. Me
Okay,
either. But I don't. I like him better than Dobbs, to be
I
honest.
do too. Same.
Where would you reach up to? Would you reach up to Chase Brown? Would we just go T-Law here
I don't
with
have a lot of
Ridley?
Chase Brown, if I'm being honest. I
This,
would just.
I
I
think this
mean, I
makes
don't mind
sense.
trying to push Trevor Lawrence, but he does make sense if you don't think he's making it back to you.
It does
What
feel,
his ADP was 110,
yeah. So 11
and
picks.
then
It's
what was
basically a round.
our next pick?
118 or something.
So you could have, in
An
theory,
eight
pushed
pick
him,
drop.
but
Yeah,
I
but
do
this
like your
team
quarter.
just,
I like your quarterback room, man. I think Trevor Lawrence and Purdy honestly should be flopped, and I think you're getting the right
yeah,
quarterback.
that's fine. And this team got 3, right? So that's going to dry the room a little bit. It's not
Yeah,
bad to kind of make that little maneuver there. But yeah, the Warren price feels expensive to me. Like if we're talking about Warren last year at starting at pick 175, making its way to, 125 by the end. Yeah, that's fine. I was drafting him all last year, but
dude,
this new
he
price,
still has Harris involved. Like
yeah,
he's not gonna be the RB1
yeah,
on this offense.
it's the
He's a great.
price.
Don't get me wrong. He looks great. He's a great player, but
It's a great number 2.
Harris towards the end of the season, he picked it up.
Big time. Big time.
Yeah,
Oh man.
he's not
Even in the
going anywhere.
playoffs. Even in
He's
the
not going
playoffs.
anywhere. I mean, Arthur Smith, sure. We know this guy likes to run the ball. These guys could easily get 15 touches each based on how his offense works. But, it's not like an RB1 situation where
No.
you can get to guys like Zamir
Yeah.
White, who if Josh Jacobs doesn't sign, he is for sure probably the RB1.
Mhm.
Um, bearing some things go his way.
Yeah.
Draft and stuff like that, free
For
agency, but
for Warren to access his ceiling, he needs an injury in front of him. Like that's
yeah.
without a doubt.
And then, yeah, of course, I like him, but based on the current situation, it's not like that.
The wide receiver avalanche happened. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. We warned about this running back. When you go QB, it's very tough to not go 0 RB. And I mean, we also added the tight end too, which was a risk. But again, Godwin was gone.
So, are you pretty good here
Godwin was
with
gone.
if I was in your position, would you feel good here with doing 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends, and then allocating 2 positions to receiver or running back?
We're just going receiver and running back, I would think, for the rest of the draft. Like,
So you're good with Allen and Lawrence, right?
oh yeah, big time,
Okay, good.
big time. Warren here at 112 is fine. I would even do this with Harris and Warren, at this ADP. But pick
Yeah.
96, 97 feels rich. Yeah, go QBs, babies. Get the QBs up. Jaden Daniels right here to pair with Stevenson. Perfect, Logan. Perfect. That QB avalanche is coming.
There's not
This,
much left,
this,
boys.
this guy to my left is going back-to-back QBs. Wild card.
If you don't have a second quarterback at this point, you might need one.
Okay, goes Lockett.
This guy needs a quarterback. He has 0.
He goes White. I'm cool with Chuba here.
Yeah, I'm great with Chuba.
We could just make the bet that maybe Buffalo adds a receiver, or we can go
I think you're
Shakir
pretty
if he
good
falls back to us.
I think you're good with Diggs and Kincaid. Like we're thinking now, like if this team makes the finals, does Shakir, Diggs, and Kincaid all get there?
No, probably not, because Josh Allen seems to only be the one that gets there.
So I would like
He's always getting
Shakir
there on the
here if you
ground.
missed out on some of your other pieces. Like if you didn't get Kincaid, I think bringing in your second option here to have it is great. But when you have 3 of them, like we're saying Josh Allen's got to throw like what 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. One of them goes to Shakir, one goes to Kincaid, one goes to Diggs, maybe two goes to Diggs, two goes to you know what I mean? It's
It's
thin.
the selling point is always like Shakir. In this case, it'd be like Shakir has the pretty big year. Diggs is a bad advance rate player, but Diggs has a big week 17.
Got
Like
it.
that's
Okay, that's a theory. That's a good way to look at it.
I like RB in this range personally.
Same.
Uh,
If I didn't
Wide
have a tight
receiver, we're
end,
not going Judy.
if we didn't have a second tight end, I'd like Schultz in this range, but we're good.
Yeah. Schultz gets an
Uh,
instant bump when he resigns with Houston, right?
yeah, 100%.
Brooks probably drops, even though people are steaming him up. He probably drops after he get the news that he's not participating in the combine because that's not news to everybody.
I agree.
Uh,
100%.
Rashawn here,
I'm on like Singletary or Ford, but if you
ooh,
like Rashawn, go with it.
Singletary Ford. Let's go. Let's go Rashawn. Just based on ADPs, I have a shit ton of Ford.
Yeah, same.
I like the pick.
I
It's
just think
kind of
with Ford,
balanced
like
between
Rashawn. So here's my thinking, right? With Rashawn, like I think he's still going to be in an RB by committee with Herbert. Um, and
Yep,
I'm uncertain
he
how
will.
that landscape works with Ford. Yeah, so Nick Chubb's still in the landscape for now, but with things going the way it is and the injury that he sustained, Ford could end up being the running back one on Cleveland.
Good. Very easily. Very easily. And I know you're getting the boost. You're expecting him to have higher usage, maybe even like RB1 usage for an unknown amount of weeks, maybe 4 to 6 weeks,
Yeah,
probably around, around that range. And then when Chubb comes back, you're expecting, you know, Nick Chubb not to get 25 touches right when he gets
right.
back. So I'm over 25% on Ford. And I'm probably actually near that with
I
Rashawn
mean, the
too.
thing would be if Rashawn was in Ford's situation, it would be better. I think I know. I would agree with you that Rashawn is probably a better like running back on paper, but
I
he's
would say
not in the
so.
situation that Ford's in. With luckily Chubb's situation with what he sustained last year. I mean,
Does Ford get an unforeseen, uh, like, kind of negative bump because of Deshaun Watson coming back and potentially stealing rushing touchdowns?
I don't think he's gonna be rushing much with his own injury issues. Honestly, I think they can't risk him
I don't think he
getting
cares, right?
injured again.
Is that money guaranteed?
I just don't think so, man. I think he's not going to be trying to run the ball as much, if I'm being
It
honest.
didn't look like no,
I
and I
think
agree with that.
they'll rely on Ford if they have to,
Yeah.
and he'll just be passing the ball, like whether or not it's Cooper, Njoku, Elijah
Mhm.
Moore. Like he's not running, man. That's just my take. I mean,
He didn't look like he ran as much, early season before he got hurt too, so
yeah, I think the running days are over. If I'm being honest. And it's
Oh,
a fun offense, man. Like I
shoot.
have a good amount of Deshaun. Like I'm buying into this comeback narrative for him. I think he's got the weapons to be a great quarterback. Um, and I don't think he's had as many weapons as he's had on this team.
But nothing's really changed from the start of last year.
Well, the injury changed.
Well, yeah,
I mean, he didn't start off good, but look, you got
he
to give
did not.
you got to give players time, man. I mean, it doesn't happen overnight sometimes.
Calvin Ridley happened overnight. The boy. The boy. Gabe Davis off the board. So again, like wide receivers looking pretty gross in this range. I usually just go RB here. Like we're probably gonna end up with 10 receivers on this team, I would think.
I like that. I'm fine with that. Man, no one likes Ford. That's great. Please. Who needs Ford? Not this guy.
Feel like it is a little tougher to go Khalil
Yeah. Yeah, I
with
wouldn't go
Rashawn,
Herbert.
but you go with Kendra.
Yeah, I'm good here with Kendra.
Yeah, I know who you're staring at already.
Wandell.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I figured it was your boy Demario.
DeMario or Wandell. I like them like almost equally, to be
Nick
honest.
Nick is a closet Patriots fan. Like, there's just a fucking shrine of
I do,
Patriots
dude. I've
gear.
been growing on Stevenson lately too. So, and imagine if like Jaden Daniels comes to that team, like, dude, you may have
I
you may
like
have
Jaden
another
Daniels.
dynasty coming soon.
I would
But
like Roman Wilson, but man, this feels early to reach out for Roman
I think
Wilson.
Wandell and Pop Douglas here are kind of like the similar architect for players, right? Well, damn.
No way. I might go Roman Wilson over Demario Douglas.
Man, that's like, and you're a Pats fan, so this is
This
like
is
this is like
this
like a genocide,
this is the thing. Like, this is a part in this. It's not even summer. It's fucking winter. We're drafting.
dude. You
This
better
is the
hurry
part.
up and switch it then.
In February, you're gonna clip this and either say this is the smartest move ever, the dumbest move ever, or it didn't matter because they both got hurt in training camp. It's-
I don't think he's gonna get hurt, but I'd be willing to bet. Like, I'll make a bet with you. Like a man-to-man bet that Demario Douglas finishes better than Wilson, not Michael Wilson.
yeah.
Your
Can we
your
wait on
boy,
landing spot?
your boy from Michigan.
Can
No,
we wait
right
on
now
landing
you
spot?
just drafted him. You just drafted him,
I know,
so
but
I
I
don't
don't
want to
need a
hear that.
floor guy. I don't need a floor guy. We got Myers, we got Lamb, who's high ceiling, high floor.
Dude, I'm
We're
not
good
gonna
on
lie.
floor.
Roman Wilson has had a ton of steam and good press based on all the stuff during the Senior
Based
Bowl and like, but
our, our early wide receiver video is that
yeah,
is that
even
1%
then.
of the movement?
But Douglas is a guy that came into this Patriots offense and gave you guys a spark that you guys like desperately needed between Parker, Juju, like all these dust
Oh,
guys. He came in here, he took
dude.
screens, he did everything he had to do to get you guys positive yards outside of like Zeke when
He wasn't
Stevenson was down.
competing with anyone. He wasn't competing with anybody. He's a great route runner. He's a shifty little fuck, but
Yeah.
uh I don't know, man.
So, dude,
I
Wilson is sort of the similar kind of player as Douglas. Like, he's
yeah.
not that big. Like, we're not talking about a 6'2"
No,
guy. We're not talking
no,
about a guy that has 200 pounds. Like, we're
no.
talking about a guy that's going to have to be shifty and fast, just like Douglas. So, I like the guy that's proven it. Like, he's shown that
He
he's done it.
hasn't though. He
Come on.
hasn't proved it. Bro, 44 catches, 49 catches for 500 yards and 0 touchdowns is
I
like
could show you worse stats if you
rich.
want to.
Bro, just give me Tyler Boyd. It's like non-sexy Demario
Tyler
Douglas,
Boyd
or it's
doesn't do anything like you said. He's a floor player. Douglas
pick
is
200 though. It's
yeah.
40 pick cheaper Tyler Boyd, or 40 pick more expensive Tyler Boyd here. That's how I kind of view him, at least. But I can see the other side of it. I can see, like, okay, New England getting an increase on offense, like Kendrick Bourne still being hurt, but this team has to bring in a receiver, which is fine. You're not drafting wide receiver ones here.
It doesn't hurt Douglas if they bring in a receiver, like
No, of course not.
a
Of
guy
course
that's
not.
gonna be the X guy in their team that's just gonna run routes down the field and
Right.
catch long passes. If anything, that helps Douglas and they can manufacture like short routes
Yeah.
for him. And he
Yeah.
can still pick up 4 or 5 catches for 50 plus yards just by doing some simple stuff.
Yep. No, I'm with you there. I'm with you there.
But hey, dude, you may get Douglas here.
That's wild.
You still may get Douglas.
Which is 5. It's only 5 picks. It's not like it's.
So
I'm
there's
cool
2
with going
players.
Douglas here.
I'll give you 2 players here. There's someone on the board that should be jumping out to you, but
Oh God. Yeah, I'm cool with it. Ray Dave.
yeah,
It
it's
is
one of
tough.
these.
I will say to go Ray Davis over Algier is almost borderline insane, just because
I
of the
don't
upside that Algier has if an
I don't
injury
think so.
happens to
Well,
Bijan. You
yeah,
have he is the number 1 handcuff on the season. He's probably going 40 picks too late.
yes, you're definitely right about that, 100%. But it's another if question mark. So it's an if.
Yeah, there's nothing but ifs.
Well, so you drafted a rookie receiver. That was a big if.
We'll grab one
It's
of
the
these
same
two.
principle. It's
Um,
the same principle for. You're not getting Ray Davis. He's gone. By the way, you just kissed that goodbye.
no way.
100%.
No way.
He's gonna get sniped here. I believe in these next guys. Yeah. See you later.
I can't. When Algiers on the board, I can't. Because we can house Algier for 10 weeks of minimal usage.
So the if
If
thing
Bijan
is
gets
like
hurt
if
at any
Ray
point,
Davis lands in the right system on the right
that's
team,
an if too.
but it's also an if Bijan gets hurt.
Okay, so what if both things happen? What if both ifs occur?
Well,
Who would you rather?
we're both wrong.
We're
Either
both
way.
happy.
Yeah, well, I'm not happy because I have 60% of the guy, so it's different for
No,
me.
I mean, if a positive outcome happens for both of them,
Oh,
you probably want Algier because he's gonna be the RB1
I mean,
on the team.
probably, but if I was gonna give you the bias answer, I'd say Ray Davis because I have to stand behind him. I'm so committed at this point.
Who do you like here?
I like how you have it for
Okay,
sure.
cool.
But yeah, I mean, dude, when you're so deep in the bag on a player, like
I know.
I just can't take your side on like anything. It's not you, it's me.
I cannot see clearly, but
Yeah.
he has like. Is there another running back that deserves like the number one handcuff spot over Algier right now? I mean, there's some close ones. Like Warren's probably pretty close, but he's 60 picks, 65 picks more expensive.
I would say Warren.
I would love this. But
Yeah, there we go. Some supporters here. That's good.
I'm over 20% Ray.
That's
Like,
great.
don't get me wrong.
I think you're right. So if you're taking into the consideration his ADP, then I think he is probably the best handcuff on the board. But
Yeah,
if we're just talking about if I could take any of these guys without an ADP implied, then yeah, I guess Warren on paper looks great.
yeah. For backups.
I think he's a better running back. But look, dude, Algier did a great job before they brought in Bijan. Like
He
I was
did.
almost surprised when the
He
Falcons
did.
drafted him because he looked great the year before that.
Yeah, just
A
around
thousand
5 yards per carry. He didn't get
thousand
in the end zone
yards.
too much, but
No, but still, he was a rookie that year, correct?
yeah.
So he comes in with low draft capital. He wasn't a high draft pick. He rushes for
Mm.
1,000 yards. He's almost rookie of the year, and then they bring in Bijan and then just completely, murder his dreams.
Absolute
So
disrespect. The
I was
disrespect.
surprised about it at first, but then his numbers
Yeah,
took a huge,
I
huge
had
decline.
that year. I remember I was drafting more Algier than I was Damian Pierce,
Yeah,
which I guess it didn't even matter. Algier probably ended up
they both sucked.
just fine, right? 128. He probably outscored Pierce.
Algier was better. I mean, Pierce was in like the 70s, I think.
Damn.
Yeah.
So it ended up still working, but obviously the price took a huge hit. All right, we still need probably one more running back. I would say it would be nice to bring in I would say at least one rookie, but if we go 6 running backs and we can get 10 wide receivers, do you think this team needs 10? It either needs 9 or 10.
Especially when, sorry to say, I mean, anytime you have rookies, like you need to just take into account that
Yeah.
those may account for 0 points. So,
Yep.
it's fine to do it.
And we're gonna
Like,
add
look,
more rookies too.
if we want to bring in like a guy like Walker, we can keep going that route and just get more rookies on this team. But yeah, 10 is when you have rookies, we need to like take that into consideration.
After Logan's pick, I'll bring up a name because I don't think these guys are in the stream. What are your thoughts on Will Shipley?
From Clemson?
Yeah.
I think he's all right. I don't know if he's going to be like an immediate impact player. I mean, he could get a lot of receiving work, but
Do you like Gibson here?
I'm fine with Gibson.
Gibson or
I would
Ricky,
prefer
Ricky
you go
right
with.
now.
I would prefer with Walker.
over Ricky.
right now.
Okay.
Because there are like reports that Walker could end up being drafted by the Chiefs. That's an offense you want to be a part of.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a rumor. I mean, look, Ricky could end up a Chief for all we know, but
I think, dude, just like the profile of Ricky Pearsall, like he's like a Miami Dolphin prototype, like good in motion. That would be a super interesting landing spot for him.
yeah, super shifty. Like, dude, runs smooth routes. I mean, like I said, he looks like Adam Thielen, like a better version of Adam Thielen. So I love him. I've been high on him since the start.
Yeah.
Tape is really fun to watch.
Oh man, this is you know, where you're sending flares right now, completely buried, sending flares at the wide receiver position.
I think we can keep pounding these rookie receivers, and then hopefully maybe two of them, even if two of them are correct, I think it works out in your benefit.
Yeah, with these four, having 6 total for sure.
Yeah.
So we can either go. What do we got? 2 picks. We got 3 picks. We're definitely going 1 running back. It's either 1 or 2 running backs though.
I would say one is fine. Maybe
And
two.
then
Maybe two. Yeah,
yeah, it's
because
gonna depend who our next guy is.
yeah, you're light. You're light for sure on the back end.
Been mixing in Dylan Johnson. I've been scrolling the F down at Kendall and Kamani.
I like the guys you had originally. Like I like Gibson, and I don't mind you going like Chris here because we know that Gibson's probably not going to be a commander, so
Mhm.
we're not really double stacking the same team by any means. Also, Chris Rodriguez, another Kentucky boy, just like my boy Ray Davis.
I have a lot of Chris Rodriguez, but again, these picks don't really matter if they miss, but you get a huge advantage if you're hitting on your 18, 19, 20 round guys. You're getting a huge advantage. It doesn't
Um,
matter if they miss.
Gainwell's also interesting to throw in the conversation because of the Swift stuff.
Yeah, I've been mixing them in. Let me see what percent I'm at Gainwell. We'll drop a nug for the crowd. It's over 8%.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
I was a Gainwell mega fader last year.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be in on Gainwell unless there was any doubt that they wouldn't sign Swift. If they signed Swift, I think Gainwell's pretty dead.
I'm at exactly 8%.
I mean, what
That's
was
actually
Gainwell's stats last
it's
season
more.
with Swift involved? If you pull up his
They
card,
weren't amazing.
no,
Did he
yeah,
just
that's
go?
no.
Yeah, they weren't they weren't great.
Not
But
not
again,
great.
I'm at 11% for the big board. The way it was presented to us though last year was this team keeps adding running backs. They don't love him. They don't like clearly they don't think he's the guy or going to have like a large enough workload. And again, like he didn't
Yeah.
because I mean the signs were there. They brought in Rashad Penny, who I guess was complete dust. But now this year, I think the tables are a little turned and his price is a lot better. So the risk is lower
Well,
and the
Philly let go
situation's
of the
better,
running back that
potentially.
ended up being the running back 2 on his new squad. So they kind of made the right
Smart,
call.
smart.
DeAndre Swift went from being RB1 to RB1 again.
Yeah. Oh, Burton off the board.
I think Gainwell or Rodriguez here is a good 6 for you. Just depends on like what bet you want to make. I think they're in the same. Gainwell maybe has better odds of having a larger upside with Swift, but because we know Robinson's going to be there.
I would have liked Shipley, but get one rookie. It's fine.
Well, you could still, if you wanted to go 7-9. It's up to you.
Yeah, we'll see this last pick because we have 4 rookies here. Does that make you more apt to click someone like
Yeah,
one of these guys? Maybe
yeah.
Allen
definitely
Robinson, I
down.
think, is tough because I do think they add to this group. They have to. I
I
mean,
think you're right. I think you're right on doing that and grabbing like another vet. Do you want to bring in like Chase Claypool?
I'm sorry. What?
He's on Miami.
Stop. No, stop. We're not doing this again. We're not doing this again. We can't. We can't do this again. The Claypool
I
thing.
like Mooney. Mooney here feels good.
Let's go. Like, should we click Tim Patrick?
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Feels
R.I.P.
bad. You have guys like
R.I.P.
Juju that don't get drafted. You have like Justin Watson from the Chiefs who don't get drafted. A lot of players.
It's about time.
Remember when Sky Moore was a top 100 pick? You can get him for free now.
People
What
used to
was
say you
Sky
can get
Moore's ADP last year? It had to be
it
high, right? He was
dipped.
like,
It
he-
dipped into the high 80s, I believe, at the highest point, right?
yeah, yeah, it was insane.
People are like, you could get KC's #1 receiver for free in the 7th round.
Yeah,
What?
and
I
now
don't want that.
He's been falling down into the pits here with these
Yeah,
other guys
I
who
don't
don't
want
find a
that.
home ever.
I like this group. I think we survived. I think we did end up getting found on the avalanche on the mountain here. I could just picture Nick like, see, I made it up to safety like pretty well. Like I got the basket, but Nick's like holding on to the ladder, and the copter's pulling away. And he's got his Ray Davis shares. Oh my. Why not Izzy?
Um,
I think we end up getting a little. Izzy's fine, but you're not getting any work, right? Like he's not even really a change of pace type guy. So I mean, it's very similar. Like I do like Izzy, but do you
Izzy's
get
he's a handcuff pick. So if you believe
yeah,
Izzy's your favorite handcuff, then by all means, like you should grab him. But like I don't think you should just be grabbing a ton of handcuffs. Like
yeah.
have a couple of them.
With
You
the
know what I mean?
unknown with Swift, that's kind of the lead here over Izzy. But I do
Yeah,
like Izzy as well, mixing him in.
and that too, that as well. But I just meant in terms of you already have your handcuff in Tyler Algier. Like I don't like to
Yeah.
just throw out a bunch of handcuffs on my team because then so many good things have to go your way for that
Hmm.
to pay off. Like you
Hmm.
need Bijan to get hurt, you need Bruce Hall to get hurt. I mean, yeah, it's
Right.
possible, but
They access their ceiling strictly by injuries where who knows with Gainwell if
yeah,
if they don't bring them back in.
Gainwell
Swift.
has two paths. He has the path that they don't retain or sign DeAndre Swift. That's great. Or he now has the handcuff path, and DeAndre Swift gets hurt. Gainwell
Right.
becomes the RB1 as well.
But I don't see a world in which Israel Abanikanda rises really too far from this ADP, whereas Kenneth Gainwell could rise with some news about Swift.
I just think people get attached to the player themselves. Like, yeah, I think we know Israel is a better running back than Gainwell. Like, he seems better on paper, but he's
Mhm.
not in the same situation, unfortunately. They're not in the same teams. So you can't judge it just strictly based on, oh, I like this player because he's better. Like, if I like Ray Davis and he ends up in a shitty team, like, it doesn't work for me at all.
So Algiers ends up being a better pick. Oh shit. What do you think here? Do you want wide receiver or running back? Because I think we're actually, if we're leaning into two of these guys hitting,
Yeah.
we should be fine with just two.
So do you want to go like a rookie running back?
And if none of them hit, right, I don't think this last round guy is
Or
gonna be the
does
guy
he?
that puts us over. Or does he? He could get us there.
Or is this the Puka that we missed? um, yeah,
Good
I don't
point.
mind. I think in terms of just your roster construction, it's fine to go a rookie, maybe a rookie running back or another
Yeah,
receiver. I don't
it's
think it will
gross
make
either
it's
way
not going to
here.
make or break your squad. You just have to be right on this pick.
Dude, the bit the bit that Overset put out on Dylan Loeb or
By the way,
Lobby or
man,
whatever.
dude, shout out to this guy. I didn't even realize he played on Long Island. He played in West Hampton. which, funny enough, I coached the West Hampton 6th grade team.
Okay.
He
Okay.
didn't play.
Okay.
He didn't play on our team, but we had some dogs, some
I
good
love that.
players. I just had no idea this guy came from West Hampton. It's like
That's
an
sick.
awesome story.
That's sick.
I like him, man. Take him.
Who do you want? You want
I don't really know much about Washington. I know Jacob Cowing out of Arizona is good. I know Thrash is good. I like Thrash the best. But if you want to get spicy, yeah, grab Dylan. Not Dylan Johnson.
No, I can't. I can't do I can't
Grab
do it.
our
I can't
grab
do
our
it.
Danny Woodhead.
I can't. I can't. He played at
Um,
UNH, dude.
so it's either then go Dylan Johnson or Thrash, in my opinion. I don't know much about Washington. If that's your pick, then I just
Washington is
he's Georgia, right? No.
he's smaller. No, he played with Rice. And a lot of people are saying that he was the better receiver over Rice. He's just
Oh, at
very
USC?
small.
He played at USC?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't really know his tape well.
Watch it afterwards.
Dylan
Watch it
Johnson,
afterwards.
I do know Dylan Johnson though, so I mean, I
Taj
think that's a fun pick.
Taj is a little that's a nugget for the fellas. Ladies and gents are in the chat.
Good to know. It's funny that JJ is not getting drafted. It's kind of surprising.
Yeah, and the one time you want to pair him with like your Atlanta correlation, he's like gone at pick 182. It's like it'd be like that
Exactly.
sometimes. Guys, appreciate everyone coming out tonight. If you enjoyed tonight's live stream, please before you leave, drop a like. Make sure you're following Nick. His link is in the description for the Twitter machine. And yeah, if you guys are interested in the draft guide, subscribe to the Patreon. Now's the time because it was just updated. So, Nick, do you have anything for the people?
No, I think it was a fun draft. Thanks for having me, man. I hope everybody had a good time watching us put this one together. And yeah, good stuff.
Dude, the surprise appearance is always welcome. The 7:30 p.m. text. You going live tonight? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. But all right, guys. Hope you all have a good night. We'll catch you on the next one. Hunters.